John Constantine was destined to become one of the greatest occult warlocks in the DC universe. As an anti-hero, he would do whatever it takes to win, even if it meant breaking moral codes. With access to all types of magic, including those from the dark dimension known as the other side, Constantine would become a master of many magical disciplines, studying countless books and gaining knowledge from all fields. He would be a key figure in Justice League Dark. Before we begin, I'd like to say that the DC animated series is far superior to their live-action counterparts. I wish this could be both, as Constantine's story and abilities would be incredible on the big screen. Constantine's magical beginnings are rooted in tragedy. As a young boy, his rise to becoming a powerful magic wielder was not by chance, but was orchestrated by Nurgle, a powerful god-turned-demon, disguised as Constantine's friend. Nurgle convinced him to use a particular spell to enhance his magical abilities, omitting the crucial detail that it required a sacrifice. As John recited the spell, his family home caught fire. The house, once filled with laughter and the smell of his mother's baking, was now a tomb. He was surrounded by the ghosts of his actions, by the weight of his parents' absence. The guilt was a living thing, a serpent coiling around his heart, squeezing the air from his lungs. He had killed them. His words, his curiosity, his arrogance had cost him everything and changed his destiny. John, now alone and on his own, learned to fight, to steal, to survive. The world was a harsh teacher, but it was the only one he had left. He met others like him, lost souls drawn to the fringes of society, to the shadows where magic flickered and danced. They taught him about the true nature of magic, about the price that came with wielding its power. They showed him the hidden pathways, the secret alleys where the veil between worlds thinned, where demons whispered promises of power and knowledge. He devoured every scrap of information, every whispered incantation, every ritualistic sacrifice. He learned that power, true power, came at a cost. Constantine's practice of magic was not without mistakes. One of his biggest failures was attempting to exorcise a demon from a little girl. The exorcism ultimately failed, and a spell accidentally sent the girl's soul to hell, allowing the demon Nurgle to claim victory. Many believe the exorcism failed because the demon had been tied to Constantine from the beginning of his magical ascension. Word spread through the underworld of a young mage, reckless and brilliant. They called him the Hellblazer. He wasn't afraid of the darkness. He embraced it. He walked the line between worlds, a tightrope walker balancing between damnation and redemption. He faced down creatures from nightmares, bargained with demons for lost souls, and cheated death with a sly grin and a flick of his wrist. His reputation grew, a mixture of awe and fear. Eventually, Constantine encountered a mentor named Nick Necro, a highly skilled sorcerer who took him under his wing. Nick was obsessed with ancient books of magic that held all knowledge and revealed the origins of magic itself. Nick was dating Zatanna, the mistress of magic, who excelled alongside Constantine in their magical endeavors. Over time, Constantine became romantically involved with Zatanna, causing a rift between him and Nick. Nick's obsession with the books of magic eventually led to his departure, leaving John and Zatanna alone. John couldn't help but wonder what he had lost in his mentor. If Nick had been close to finding the ancient books of magic, John had missed his chance to obtain them. One night, he received a frantic call from Nick, who warned that the cult of the Cold Flame had found him. John and Zatanna rushed to Nick's secret apartment in Brooklyn, where they found him surrounded by cultists with a knife to his throat. He knelt in the middle of a sacrificial rune on the floor designed to bind anyone who died within it to hell. Nick revealed that the cultists wanted the daughter of their greatest enemy, while he sought revenge on John. It was a trap. Nick had sided with the cult, offering them Zatanna in exchange for access to their knowledge and retribution against John. Nick got up and put the knife to John's throat as the cultists grabbed Zatanna. He taunted them, saying they had always wanted magic from him. Using astral projection, Constantine distracted the cultists, allowing Zatanna to break free. Then, John, now united back with his astral form, seemingly passed through Nick's blade as if it wasn't there. Facing Nick with his back to the cultists, John said, "I've learned a lot since you've been gone, and I'm sorry for what is about to happen to you." The cultists threw knives at Constantine's back, but they all passed through him and struck Nick, who was standing near the sacrificial rune. John had used intangibility, sending the knives into a pocket dimension where they couldn't harm him. Mortally wounded, Nick begged Constantine for help as he was being dragged to hell. With his back still facing the cultists, John pulled out his lighter with his right hand and ignited the spark. Flames erupted and were guided like a homing missile, incinerating the cultists. Looking into Nick's eyes, he said, "All magic must come with a price." In an instant, Nick's soul was dragged to hell. Constantine grabbed Nick's trench coat, wore it as a symbol of his mastery and as a testament that he had surpassed his mentor in magical abilities. John continued traveling the world, from the bustling streets of London to the sweltering jungles of South America, from the ancient ruins of Egypt to the frozen wastelands of the Arctic. He learned of ancient pacts, of cosmic entities, of the delicate balance between order and chaos that held alternate realities together. He would use his power, his knowledge, to carve his own path, to make his own choices, even if it meant defying the very forces that governed the universe. His quest for power led him to the darkest corners of the magical world. He learned to manipulate the very fabric of reality, to bend the rules of magic to his will. He sought out forgotten rituals, deciphered cryptic texts, and confronted entities older than time itself. One such entity was the Great Darkness, which existed in the primordial void before the emergence of light. When the light was born, it no longer shone as brightly, causing the Great Darkness to slumber and cease its attempts to extinguish it, a compromise of near-perfect harmony. Or so it seemed. Even in slumber, the Great Darkness continued to exert its influence, using avatars and puppets to weaken the new universe and strive to extinguish the light. Constantine opened a dimensional portal to the primordial void, seeking to understand it. As he stepped through, he encountered the Great Darkness and was instantly consumed by it, his consciousness connecting to an ancient being. This exploration granted him cosmic awareness, allowing him to understand the past and perceive parts of the future. However, his journey was abruptly interrupted by another powerful being, the Anti-Monitor. The Anti-Monitor is a rage-fueled, murderous cosmic entity driven by an insatiable desire to destroy all life and positive matter in the multiverse, leaving only his antimatter universe in existence, and has consumed many universes with his energy absorption. The Anti-Monitor said, "You're not supposed to be here, human," and with a mere thought sent Constantine with a one-way ticket to his universe. Although John had placed a protection spell on himself beforehand, it only partially shielded him and kept his body from ripping apart. He returned in critical condition, suffering from 30 fractures and multiple contusions. Slipping into a coma, he was rushed to the hospital, where Zatanna anxiously waited for him to wake up. That night, Nergal, the demon from his past, injected Constantine with his blood, intending to control him in the future. Miraculously, John made a rapid recovery, with his bones and bruises healing by the next day. John woke up and looked at Zatanna, saying, "I know who was really responsible for my parents' death. I'm going to kill the demon Nergal, and I have just the weapon to use." Zatanna, puzzled, asked, "How are you healed already?" John explained, "This is all part of the cosmic plan. A demon saved my life with his blood to control me like a puppet when needed." Constantine now had demon's blood coursing through his veins and was now able to use higher-level magic at will, pushing his human limits. Share, like, comment on the weapon he will use, and subscribe for part 2.